To kick off the day, we will hear from the Vice President of the European Parliament, Massimo Castaldo, who is the youngest Vice President to sit in this office, and his election also marks the success of the first independent candidate. Then we will hear from the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Emanuela Del Re, who is an expert in issues regarding migration, refugees, conflicts, and minorities.
Distinguished speakers and guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizers for their invitations to this important debate, which I very much appreciated. It is an honor for me to speak before famous experts and participants both from the private and institutional world on a topic that is particularly important to me, the challenge of the regenerative economy. The noble aim of this event is to create a common environment in which to build virtuous relationship between the private sector, the scientific world, governments and civil society in order to define a strategy towards the promotion of a sustainable development. This objective is perfectly in line with those behind the so-called European Green Deal, the ambitious program launched by the European Commission, which has the goal to transform the face of our continent through inclusive and sustainable economic policies. Europe aims to become the first climate-neutral continent by 2050 by focusing on innovative technology and best practices that can later be exported all over the world, in this way also exploiting the green transition from the point of view of the economical growth. The Commission has proposed many initiatives within the overall strategy. For example, in the new Next Generation plan, funds to support the energy transition have increased from 7.5 billion to 17.5 billion and will also finance a renovation wave of the European real estate sector, which currently consists of buildings that are 75% energy inefficient. Another important initiative which concerns Italy very closely is the transition to hydrogen steel making, the so-called green steel. The EU is ready to invest on it, especially through the Just Transition Fund, and Taranto has already been identified as a main beneficiary area for such investments. Thanks to these initiatives and the resources mobilized by the Next Generation EU, the Commission has been in a position to propose a new emissions reduction target. 55% instead of 40% by 2030, while the European Parliament was even more ambitious in voting to raise the target to 60%. And this will be its negotiating position for the future negotiations with the other European institutions. Europe is then at the forefront of the fight against climate change, and this is the first that aims to address these major challenges worldwide. It therefore has the responsibility but also the opportunity to develop a new economic model for a sustainable decarbonization based on a pragmatic green industrial policy and a fair social transition. The Italian government is ready to take up the challenge. On Wednesday, it presented to the Italian Parliament the preliminary National Recovery and Resilience Plan to be submitted to the European Commission, which will be based on green, digital and inclusive policies such as the circular economy. I would like to conclude with a very important remark. If we have a look on the document World Happiness Report, which will be discussed in the framework of the Regeneration 2030, the youth-led sustainability movement, we will discover that according to the many statistics, the average happiness rises near the large urban centers, mostly because those are the areas in which there are more jobs and social opportunities. However, we know that urbanization has also brought a number of problems in terms of environmental sustainability, population density, inadequate infrastructures, lack of affordable housing, crime and poverty as well. For these reasons, We must consider that even during the difficult moment caused by the pandemic, the initiatives of the European Union can represent an unrepeatable opportunity to change our way of living and working for the better. To do this, it will be necessary to use new innovative solutions to regenerate not only our economy but also our territories and all those ultra-peripheric areas of our country that potentially represent a real treasure in which the traditions of the past will be ready to meet the innovation of the future. I hope, or better, I am sure that this will be the proper opportunity to take another step forward in the right direction. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a very successful and fruitful day of discussion today.